Hey gang, welcome back to 31 Days of Halloween. Today's day number 26, and today is actually the first day that I am right on time. We usually this whole month I filmed ahead, and now I'm caught up to where I'm like, so I hope I don't get behind. So let's just hope for that. Anyway, today, the 26th day, I'm going to talk about my favorite remake, reboot of all time. I love this film. I think they did such a great, fantastic job with this. And I just got this in the mail today. That's why I watched it. And that is Evil Dead from 2013. This is the unrated edition. Well, it has both, but this has the unrated edition in it. That has the added scenes and extended scenes, and we'll talk about that in a second. Starring Jane Levy and directed by Fede Alvarez. I work in the corrections field, and I specifically work with a lot of drug addicts, and for Mia to be, for this whole film to be about taking their friend to this cabin away from everywhere and doing a cold turkey detox, I thought was a brilliant idea. When I first heard that this film was getting remade, I was completely against that. And then when I heard, Sam Raimi and the guys gave it their blessing and were going to produce, I knew that they weren't in it for the money. I knew they were in it for the fans. And one of Sam Raimi's interviews, he talks about how he thinks, of a lot of films out there, this one could use an update to bring more fans in, and I totally agree. Now, Bruce Campbell was kind of hesitant with this, but, whatever, Bruce, I have a lot of love for Bruce. I have just about everything he's ever been in. I got to meet him about 5 or 6 years ago. He was really, really, really cool. It was a really fast engagement for an autograph and a picture, but it was a really pleasant time. Now, 2013, we remake this film. Like I said, I was totally apprehensive on this, and I watched an interview with Bruce Campbell, and he said that, you don't even have to think about this as a remake. Just think about it as the book was in a different place or a different time or whatever. And I kind of eased into that when I was, kind of thought about it a little differently after that. So we have a really good film because of this. 2013, we have Mia. She's out there trying to detox herself. Her friends are not going to let her go this time. Last time didn't work out. This time they've went out of town, found a secluded place that Mia and her brother's family owned, and they're going to do this. Now, detoxing off heroin or anything else, really, heroin's bad. There are a lot of really bad symptoms in this, and they go through I can't remember her name, the girl that plays the nurse in this goes through a lot of them, and those are all true. Hallucinations are there, so up to the part where they just figure out, this ain't drugs. All of that stuff could have been the detox, so they had every right to think the way they were thinking. And then, of course, the glasses-wearing shithead had to open the book and read it. I mean, it's not like the book didn't say, don't read. But, anyway, we have a really, really good updated movie. We have some great gore in this. There is something like 20,000 gallons of, fake blood used in this film. Everywhere from people getting their faces cut off, or cutting their own faces off. The very unpleasant scene of slitting her own tongue. We have the girl cutting her own arm off with a meat slicer. We have just some really unpleasant, bloody stuff. And of course, to the guy with glasses, he gets kind of the worst of it. He gets hurt in every encounter that they do. Some of the scenes that stick out are, of course, the girl with her arm getting cut off with the meat slicer. That's a pretty good one, and not just because of that part of the scene, but that's where we see Mia, kind of in the cellar poking her head out. And there's a little extended part there where she's taunting her a little bit more. When the girl goes down in the cellar and Mia slits her tongue and stuff like that. The movie does a really good job of making you feel uncomfortable in his cabin. And the gore is not really used as a shock, Some movies will make a gore film and just use it to shock the hell out of everybody. But this one really doesn't. I think the blood and the gore really, really goes with it. When the scene where Mia comes in to the living room dragging the gun and ends up on top of the nurse, like vomiting blood into her mouth and head, that is just amazing. And I'm going to go ahead, before we go, any further or whatever, I'm going to say, Mike, this one's not for you, bud. This one's, if you like possession films and stuff like that, it might be down your alley, but for you, buddy, no, this is some realistic practical effects that need a standing ovation. This film is so good. I recommend it to anybody, even Evil Dead fans. You cannot say that this is a bad film. That you really can't. Well, it's your opinion, but there's nothing to pick on except for they didn't use the same characters. They didn't use the same names. They don't use the same, story. Basically, they use the possession part of it. They have a lot of homages to it. They use the cabin. So they have the main stuff. The main thing is there. The only thing that's different is the characters. And, of course, what happens to the characters. But it's not 1982. It's not a low-budget film. And it's amazing. So make sure you guys watch Evil Dead. I'm sure you already have. If you're watching this video, you've probably seen this. So, but if for some reason you haven't, check his stuff out. This is frightening. Frightening, bloody, gory, and wonderful. So until tomorrow, I'm actually going to film the other one tonight, and I'll be ahead again. So I wish you well. Have a great evening. Later.